Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is Erica and I am getting married. So welcome to Wedding Wednesday number 4. Today we're going to be talking about the venue. Now, if you have watched my previous Wedding Wednesday videos, then you know that I had kind of a heads up that we were going to be getting married. So I did start doing some planning before we were engaged. Before coronavirus shut everything down. Very lucky I did. So here's how our venue search went. First, I researched every venue I could get my hands on that was in Western Washington, which is where we are getting married. I used the websites in case you were curious. Wedding Wire, Wedding Spot, The Knot. I probably used Zola if they have that on there. I don't even know. And then I also used, obviously, the actual venues websites. That's where I did my research. Other than, just Googling wedding venues, Western Washington, cheap. Did that search a lot. So that is how I did my research for my wedding venues. I did use all of their filters, looking at just the wedding venues that were the lower cost end, or just looking at the venues that were rustic, or just looking at the venues that were barns, things like that. So what we were looking for was rustic, but also having a modern feel to it. We didn't want to just be getting married out in like a hay barn with no toiletries, or, we want modern but rustic. Modern rustic. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm making it a thing. We wanted the lowest cost that we could possibly find without being a field. There's nothing wrong with fields, but we weren't interested in getting married in a field, besides the fact that it's Washington and we're looking at December. So lowest cost for not being a field, and not too far from all of our family members, because it is a destination wedding technically, but that's just because it's not where we live, but it is where basically everybody else that we know lives. So we didn't want to look at wedding venues on the other side of Washington State though, because then that wouldn't be helpful to all of our families that mostly live in the Western Washington area. And then we wanted a venue that could host both the ceremony and the reception all in one space, or all for one cost, as a package where you get to use different rooms. So I'm not going to bore you to death with the wedding venues that I researched. I'm just going to tell you about a couple of the runner-ups that we actually went and visited. Unfortunately, I did not plan on doing wedding videos at the time, so I did not record these visits, but I will show you some gorgeous pictures of these venues. The closest two runner-ups were Gold Mountain Golf Course, I think that's their official name, in Bremerton, Washington, and Kelly Farms in Bonnie Lake, I think, Washington. Those were our two runner-ups. Now, Gold Mountain was a golf course, and we would be getting married on a balcony / patio outside, which attached to a gorgeous reception room that we could have on the side of like the clubhouse. It was beautiful. I loved it. We were very close to booking this venue. It was fantastic. It would have included our catering for it, as our package. It was gorgeous. We loved everything about it. It was our number one. It really was. Another runner-up was Kelly Farms, which is this gorgeous barn. Not out in the middle of nowhere, but it's, you can have a party out there and you're not going to disturb anybody. It was this gorgeous barn. Again, I'll show you some pictures. And you walk in, it's just this big, huge open space. There's a bar on the side and a kitchen in the back. There's some restrooms. There's huge doors that you set up your altar in front of if you want to. And then you have lots of space for your tables and your chairs for your ceremony and your reception. Also beautiful, had that rustic feel. It had a separate groom shed and bridal quarters to get ready in. And it was also gorgeous. It was awesome. I loved both of them. I would say we loved both of them, but Josh didn't really see them. So he saw pictures online. Now, I went home from Washington, fully expecting to end up booking Gold Mountain as our venue. Now, my mother has the knack for throwing out ideas, and she threw out some of these genius ideas of hers as I was going into this like final stage of booking our wedding venue. And it was like, what about this place? What about this place? Mainly because we were a little bit concerned with the cost that Gold Mountain would have with it. Not that we couldn't swing it, but it would definitely mean cutting out quite a few other things for the wedding. And it was like, but look at this space that we could rent. And it wouldn't be quite as fancy, but we could rent it. We could do this and this and this and, you know, pull it off and then have all of these other things as well. And we were kind of doing this balancing act of, you know, do we want a videographer and a photographer and a photo booth and this and this and this with this like perfect venue, or do we want like somewhere in between where we can have some videography and, you know, some photography done and a really nice venue. We were trying to do this balancing act. So she was throwing out these ideas. They live on an island off of the coast of Washington. Being very vague, it doesn't really matter. But we were driving off of the ferry into the mainland area, and there's this gorgeous building on the side of the road, and I had seen it a couple times, just barely. I hadn't really paid attention much. And she's like, oh, what about Rose Hill? And I was like, oh, I don't know, because like on the outside it looks real fancy, real nice, real expensive. And I'm like, there's no way. And she's like, just look it up. I'm like, Mom, we're going for like rustic and a barn and, you know, being stuck in my ways. And she's like, just look it up. And so I did. And I saw the inside, and I saw the pictures of other people getting married there, and I saw the views of it, and I saw the price, and the price was kind of like, ooh, I don't think so. You know, it was more than we wanted to spend, and it would just be for the room. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. And she's like, well, how much is it? And I told her, and she's like, well, we could do this, we can do that. And I started thinking of the cheaper versions of all the other aspects of the wedding that we had thought about doing anyway, and then spending a bit more on the venue and doing it at this place. And then I looked at the dates that they had, and they had like 4 dates left for the rest of this entire year, and they were already booking into 2022, which was crazy to me. And I was like, well, this place is obviously like very sought after, so I felt kind of dumb just being like, no, I don't want to get married here, because obviously it's a great place to get married. And so what I did was I talked to Josh about it, and he was like, wow, that's gorgeous. And it would basically give us these views, which I'll show you, over the water, just beautiful, over the water, with the ferry in the background and the Puget Sound. It was gorgeous, and it was like, wow, okay, that's kind of hard to turn down. And so we talked about it some more, and we decided, yes, that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna do Rose Hill Community Center. We ended up picking one of their final dates. It's actually the last date that they had available for the year, like time calendar wise, and we picked it because it was just gorgeous, and the view was great, and the room was beautiful, and it can fit so many people and so much stuff in it. So we would definitely be able to have both our ceremony and our reception in there, no problem. And it was a perfect location. My parents literally have to take the ferry across to the mainland, drive about 200-300 feet up the road, and then they are there. Ta-da! Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The rest of our family live, you know, Western Washington roughly, so that worked out perfectly, and that's how we ended up with our beautiful venue. And it just kind of happened. I'd love to say, oh, I had this perfect plan and I followed it to a T and I did this and this and this, and then it was just the perfect venue that I just found. I haven't even visited this place. My mom has, and we know people who've gotten married there, and so I haven't been there, but I just kind of took a leap of faith with all the pictures and the videos I could find online and other people's weddings that I could find photos of. I was like, I don't think I could possibly be duped by this place. I mean, it just looks perfect. And so we jumped on it, we booked it, and we are getting married at, we're getting married at Rose Hill Community Center in Mukilteo, and we are very excited. So I hope you enjoyed learning how I did find my beautiful wedding venue. And I know I didn't give you a perfect plan of action, but I did go research and then more research and then more research and then dwindling down and then visiting some of them. I visited like 4 places, and then again, here's where my plan falls apart. Totally scrapped all that and just chose this other random place because it worked. So if I can give you any one tip, it'd be plan, research, but go with it. Things are going to change. Things are going to happen. People are going to give you suggestions that at first you want to just go, nope, I'm sticking with my plan. Hear them out. It's something I work on every day, is just listening. My way might not be perfect, and you might end up with something great, like a fantastic venue like we did. So I hope you enjoyed. I sure hope you join me next week, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.